and I request my younger brother, Dr. Rajiv Jaswal, Assistant Professor in Ancient History and Culture, Vasanta College for Women, to start today's program. Dr. Rajiv.
Thank you, Didi. Uh, First of all, good afternoon to all. And I, Dr. Rajiv Jaiswal, welcome you all in second day of 5-day National Virtual Workshop on Human Values, Human Excellence and Higher Education, organized by IQAC, Vasanta College for Women, and Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. So I welcome you all on behalf of both the institution. Before uh, before starting the program, I would like to invite a student of Sri Sathya Sai for chanting of Vedas hymns. So, dear student, over to you. Thanks to all the students of Sri Sathya Sai University for melodious Veda chanting. Uh, Now I would like to invite a few of the participants to share their learning experience of yesterday lecture, like Asna Kumari. Asna Kumari. Asna, can you hear me? Asna Kumari. Anaga. Anaga,
Yes, sorry for
please,
because of your network issues, I just got left.
please, please, Asna.
Okay, so Sairam everyone.
Sairam.
Okay, so my name is Ashna Kumari and I am a student of B.Ed second year of Vasanta College for Women. I must say I am very lucky enough to get an opportunity to attend such a significant and worthwhile program. First of all, I thought that the collaboration with your university will be like any other universities. But after hearing you, I came to know that there are people and there are some organizations who are working for the humanity and working for realizing the exact goal of our life. I'm really overwhelmed. As we can see that westernization has great impact over our country and people are really forgetting about the real Indian culture that is always about giving. It's about selflessness. It's about empathy and love towards other human beings. I find this workshop as a step towards bringing back the real Indian culture. We must first become human from animal and then divine man from human. Human birth is for inculcate human values and human excellence. Overall, the program was very effective as each and every point was elaborated in an intelligible way. The way to human excellence, the three steps in yoga, everything was beautifully portrayed. Think less of us and in turn think of the welfare of others is the main principle of the workshop and also the need of the time. So thank you everybody for
Thank you,
this
Asna.
wonderful workshop.
Thank you, Asna, for your opinion. And now I would like to invite Anaga from NKDH campus, Karnataka. Anaga, Anaga, can you hear me? And second, Dibya, Dibya from NKDH campus, Karnataka.
Sairam sir, actually after this today's program, they may share their
Okay,
experience.
thank you. Thank you, Naveen sir. Thank you. So now I would like to invite our today's distinguished speaker, Swami Chidananji. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Swami Chidananji. And uh, before going to tell about his brief profile, I feel privileged to tell that Swamiji is one of our family heads of Vasant College and KFI family, and he was manager of our esteemed college nearly for 6 years. So it's a homecoming for Swamiji and a family get together for all of us. So and I'm going to uh, share his profile to all of us. Swami Chiranji has been a speaker, writer, and teacher of spiritual topics for nearly 3 decades. He is the founder and chief resource person of Fowai Forum, a non-government organization engaged in dialogue on human values, promotion of spiritual studies, and serving all life forms. At the age of 23, he was inspired by the eloquent discourse of the famous Vedanta teacher Swami Chinmayanandaji. He put aside a career in electronic engineering and went for the study of Upanishad. He studied at his Guru Ashram in Mumbai and thereafter served the master institution Chinmaya Mission for 16 years. He taught philosophy at Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, Kochi, and California, USA, and he speaks at many academic, social, and business centers in India and North America. His, his thought evolved through coming in contact with the work of several great thinkers. Notable among them are Raman Maharshi and Jiddu Krishnamurti. He held executive position between 2003 to 2013 at Rajghat Education Center, which is the chapter at Varanasi of Krishnamurti Foundation India. Interested audience through talks and writing. He often conducts seminar and workshop on a number of themes of executive training and value-based management. Thank you, sir. I welcome you. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Namaste, everyone. Very glad to join as a speaker at this program, which is organized by our own Vasanta College for Women in collaboration with Sri Sathya Sai University, various issues of human life. Now, a few words before I plunge into specific examples of how Upanishads lead us, guide us. These values are generally not fully understood. The extrovert mind of a human being attaches value to instant gratification, pleasure, fun, and so on, or to position, or to some fame, name, and so on. There are just too many attractions in human life, and by the time a man or a woman realizes what has gone wrong with his or her life, it's pretty late. I'm sad to say that large number of lives go a waste, and they are not able to bring true meaning, discover true meaning in human life. So this topic of human values, mulya, we are looking for mulya, that is values. It is very intimately connected to making our life truly meaningful, truly joyous. What is the use of somebody having a silver plate in front of him with all delicacies, all the wonderful items to eat, but suppose that person has no hunger? Suppose that person is unwell. All that good food on silver plate is a waste, isn't it? Likewise, if we have not found values, if we are not able to live as per higher values, whatever we gain in life cannot be enjoyed. This everybody discovers at his own or her own time. Human values are actually much discussed. There are lots of literature available on values. Long lists of human values have been prepared, starting with Sathya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Shaucha, respect for elders, and punctuality, and managing emotions, and helping others, and control over speech. Long list. But alas, as I will show it in my detailed presentation too, lot of people end up memorizing the lists of human values, but their own life is not on the foundation of human values. What a tragedy. It is like you are very hungry, and on a sheet of paper you write, I want idli, dosa, paratha, tandoori roti, baingan ka bharta, this sambar, that rasam. You made a long list of eatables on paper, but you don't even have 2 glucose biscuits with you to eat. That will be the tragedy if we only memorize shlokas or other poetic or prose form on human values. Upanishads, which have been really regarded as very great philosophical thought, primarily cover what is called the wisdom of liberation. Upanishads, therefore, are called Moksha Shastra. But nobody should make the mistake of imagining that, oh, it is all about moksha, liberation, not for us. When we get very old, we'll think about it. Right now, we want to have excellent career, we want to perform well, we want to win the goodwill of people around us, and we want to have happiness in our heart. I tell you, the Upanishads have plenty of material on the human personality integration. So in just a few slides, I will give you some examples of how and where different Upanishads have touched upon human values. Let's see, give me a minute, I will present a few slides at this moment. Did it appear? It's always a little. Are you able to see my slides, please?
No, Swamiji.
Okay, let me see why it is not coming. I'll say stop presenting, then I'll try second time. Present now, entire screen. Again, I come back. This. No, not this. I think something else is coming. Did something come now?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, sir.
Oh, oh, thank you. Okay, okay. So all of us are together at this virtual session under the banners of Vasanta College and Sri Sathya Sai University. And the topic is Human Values, Upanishad Perspectives. Now, right in this first slide, we ask a basic question. What do values do to us? Let us be clear about it. Human values, such as being able to speak truth, being able to stand by truth, being able to make everybody go by truth to the extent possible. Maybe we can influence others too, right? What do those values do to us? I would say it is through a life lived as per noble values that we can go from fear to confidence. Unless our life is anchored in human values, we will be inwardly afraid always. A billionaire can be afraid if his life is rooted in fear, if rooted in untruth, if his life is rooted in deceit, and so on. Whereas a person with just a little bit of earning will be fearless. And fearlessness is a very great wealth. Secondly, we go from being ineffective to being effective. A lot of negative values are actually the culprit in our being ineffective in whatever we take up. Therefore, the young people in this audience especially should note, you want to become more effective, find out what the do's and don'ts are with regard to conducting yourself, with regard to your work in relation to people. Both the art of working and the art of relating with people will be wonderful if you imbibe human values. We go from being selfish to being service minded. When we are selfish, no matter how much we get, we will be dissatisfied inwardly. I heard once somebody went to a doctor and said, "My whole body is paining. Wherever I touch, it pains." The doctor examined the patient. The doctor touched the arm. It did not pain the patient. The doctor touched the leg. It did not pain the patient. But the patient said, "When I touch any part of my body, it pains." The doctor said, "Show me your finger." And the problem was with the middle finger of the patient, which had a fracture. So, with the middle finger fractured, he was touching the thigh or the chest or the head or the arm. Everywhere it's paining. You know, one of the open secrets of spirituality is if you and I have certain selfishness in us, wherever we go, we will be miserable. If we root out selfishness, we become service minded. Then, wherever we go, some little pinches, some pinpricks will be there, of course, but we will be happier. And above all, we go from sorrow to happiness. Here I bring my first reference to the specific Upanishad. In Mundaka Upanishad, there is a set of 3 mantras towards the end which give a metaphor which is in philosophical literature of India very celebrated. Very famous metaphor of 2 birds. One bird is weak, lacking in confidence, sorrowful, ineffective, and selfish. The second bird is so happy. The second bird's face is radiant. That is what the mantras say. And the first bird, which is so miserable and is wondering, why am I so unhappy, chances upon the second bird, which was all the time right on that tree only, but the first bird had not paid attention to the second bird, you see. The bird sees the second bird and slowly gets transformed. You and I come in touch with people of great merit. Not academic excellence, which has a place in life, but more important is human excellence. More important is to be a good human being. So when we come and meet some good human being and we find this lady has half or less than half the wealth as I have, this lady does not possess much talent singing, dancing, or writing, etc. But this lady is happier. Why? Because this lady is rooted in values. So, the 2 birds metaphor of Mundaka Upanishad is very suggestive. It means when we are anchored in wrong values, we will be unhappy all the time. When we meet a saint, a sage, or a saintly person, the saint doesn't have to be in orange robes or in some kind of ashram and so on. Right in your college, among the teachers or among the other staff, among your classmates, seniors, or in your family, some uncle here, some aunt there, could be the saint who influences you. You slowly then change. The Upanishad metaphor finally says, the first bird, which was so miserable, upon contemplating on the glory of the second bird, slowly changes over to sameness with the second bird. Paramam Samyam Upaiti is said in the mantra proper. The Upanishads are uncompromising when it comes to the question of how do we actually get the values. One of the mantras in Taittiriya Upanishad says, thought and word can never touch the truth. See, we speak, we learn many languages. We learn, English and Hindi, Kannada and Telugu, and many other languages. And we are able to articulate. The Upanishads say, sorry, by becoming merely scholarly, by knowing a lot of words, you cannot touch the truth. Nor can you touch the truth by speaking. One is speaking word, another is thought, thinking. Somebody says, I don't speak, I don't write, but in my mind I bring all kinds of thoughts. By visualizing the supreme truth, you don't get a handle on the truth. So there is a mantra, in many places, religious functions, they chant it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Vachaha, vak means speech. Manasa saha, manas means mind. Then we say, then how under the sun can we realize noble values? The first bullet in this slide says, perception of truth. Perception, it's not words and thought. Perception is beyond word and thought. If you carefully observe the world, how people make mistakes and suffer, how people live honestly, and then their inner strength grows. If you observe your own thoughts, how your mind is like a monkey jumping from here to there, merely seeking pleasure, or how your mind is full of revengefulness or some other false value. If you say, oh my God, I am jealous, I am so untidy, I am so unclean in my thoughts, I am so undisciplined. If I observe, we must observe life around us and our own life. Not words, not some mechanical practice, sitting 1 hour and going on repeating some mantra. Mantra japa is wonderful, but not when done mechanically. So what is the place then of spiritual study and so on? We admit. Study of spiritual literature shows to you the direction to go. The direction to go being known, you have to walk. The book will not give you liberation. The words will not. If you have given 100 speeches on Bhagavad Gita, that will not liberate you. What is said in the Gita, you give a certain thought to it and then say, for example, Gita says, Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam, and so on. Amanitvam means humility. Now close the Gita and observe yourself. Have I been humble? Or have I been boisterous? Have I been demanding attention? Have I been always asking for my way? As the expression goes, do it my way or hit the highway. We become very egoistic. Bhagavad Gita says, humility is a human value. It's drawn from the Upanishads. Therefore, we have to study a little, then close the book and observe our own thoughts, words, and deeds. In being aware of contradiction in our own way of living, something happens. A deeper intelligence in us will set the house in order. Then we begin to live a life of values. In yet another Upanishad, this perhaps is the most popular Upanishad, Kathopanishad. It has a story and it has plenty of spiritual teachings. We are warned. We are told in life, whether you like it or not, time and again, you will get two options. It is like this young lady shown here in the picture. There are two roads in front of her. Either go right or go left. And the two roads that we meet with in life are the good and the pleasant. The good is maybe a little narrow, maybe a little bumpy, but it takes us to the right destination. The pleasant looks beautiful, and you feel like just driving on that road. The road is very beautiful, but pleasure doesn't lead you to true good. In the United States, in America, 100 years ago probably, Robert Frost wrote a poem. He was perhaps inspired by the Upanishads. He says, in front of me there are two roads, and I find most people going by road 1. I too feel tempted to go by that road 1, but some discernment, viveka, some discrimination, little honest thinking lets me know that that's not the direction where I want to go. This is the direction. So I go by road 2. And he brought the expression, the road less traveled. The road more traveled by a large number of people finally ends up in sorrow. The road less traveled. Many years later, in early 1980s, a certain author called Scott Peck, who was a professor of psychology in Chicago University, wrote a book titled The Road Less Traveled. Okay, without going too far, what is that road less traveled? The road of duty, the road of what needs to be done, the road of service, the road of being of help to people, the road of performing our own duty well in time. So that road generally is not very attractive. When I have duty to perform and I have to prepare for an examination 3 days away, that is exactly when some real interesting movie comes in the town. I want to go and watch the movie in the cinema theater, eating popcorn. That is the road of the pleasant. But the road of the good is, no doubt that movie is interesting, very good actors are involved, but I'll first do my duty, prepare for this examination. That is the road less traveled. 3 out of 10 go for that road. 7 out of 10 put the books aside, go to the movie. The pleasant tempts us, makes us fall, makes us fail. Now, where has Kathopanishad said this? There is a mantra, Shreyascha Preyascha Purushagam Sinitaha. The path of the good where we should go is Shreyaha, Shreyas. The path of the pleasant, where initially it is all fun, ha ha, how nice, but later we will be sad, is Preyaha. And the Upanishad says, whoever takes Shreyaha, Shreyas, will be stable in due course of time. Now, from Kathopanishad and earlier Mundaka Upanishad, we come to Ishavasya Upanishad. Openly, the Ishavasya says the problem with human life is even as a child is growing up, the child has intuitive grasp of truth, nobility, right value, what it makes or what makes our life good. The child has an idea. But alas, the Ishavasya says a gold lid covers the face of the truth. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apihitam mukham tatvam pushan apavranu satya dharmaya drishtaye. The face of truth is covered by a golden lid. Don't be attached to the lid. Don't say, I am content with this lid, which is gold. Move away the gold lid and meet with truth itself. Okay, all that analogy, metaphor is fine. What does this golden lid really mean in our life? Short-term gains. Like the students who went to see a movie and said, there are 2 more days, we will prepare for the exams in the remaining 2 days. Today, let's go to the movie, eat out, have ice cream, come back. Those people thought of the quick short-term goals and they failed to see the long-term benefits of putting duty first. What is the golden lid? Me and my fame, my name, my image. It obscures the vision of we and us. Even in today's management, they say we must learn to think win-win. What is win-win? We must always try to find a way where our opponents and we both win. I win, you also win. Whereas when we are selfish, we go for an approach. I win and everybody else loses. That is a wrong value. The Upanishad calls these wrong values, which seem to have some fun in them, the golden lid. Wealth and pleasure. Most of you know there are 4 purusharthas: artha, kama, dharma, and moksha. Artha and kama are the golden lid. Majority of human beings just pursue artha and kama, wealth and pleasure, till their last breath. Alas, earlier we must subject artha and kama to dharma and moksha, the 3rd and 4th purusharthas. Therefore, human values are shown and emphasized in the Upanishads in many ways. Wrong values are like the gold lid, which hide truth, which is the right value. Truth, peace, unconditional love, unconditional stability in us. Come what may, our spirits are high. Don't we want that way? Don't we want our lives to be like that? Then human values. Again, we go to yet another Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. 3 categories of beings: gods, human beings, and demons. Devaha, Manavaha, then Asuraha. These 3 go to a very high celestial being called Prajapati. Prajapati is something like Brahma, the high god form. So, Devaha, Manavaha, Asuraha, and ask for moral advice. All of you are attending this, virtual program on human values. Devas, Asuras, and Manavas went to Prajapati for a similar instruction on human values. And what a fascinating story. This divine being called Prajapati said only one word, the. Gods heard the, Manavas heard the, Asuras also heard only one monosyllable, it is called the. But afterwards, as they sat down and thought over it, the beautiful part of the story is that one syllable, the, meant the right value for each category. For gods who, they live in heaven, there are a lot of enjoyments, unlimited enjoyments. Prajapati said, the means damyata. Dama is self-control. Just because things are available, do not overeat. Dhamyata, restrain your senses. The same a human value, was for human beings, datta. Datta means do dana, share your wealth. Because we human beings, keep hoarding. I want a house in the city, a house by the mountains, a 3rd house by the seaside, and 2 more houses, one for my son and one for my daughter. How much do you want? Limitless. Prajapati said, Dhanam, Datta, give. And the same syllable the meant for Rakshasas or Asuras, Dayadhvam. Daya means compassion. Within us also there is a Rakshasa element, and that Rakshasa element is cruel, harsh, it kills, it hurts. Dayadhvam. Be compassionate. You know, a United States writer, T.S. Eliot, he got Nobel Prize for Literature. In one of his works, he translated this story of of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. He titled it the Thus Spake the Thunder, because in this story also at the end the Upanishad says when Devas, Asuras and Manavas understood the human value being taught to them, the value being taught to them, let's say, there was thunder in the sky. And even the thunder made the sound, dha, dha, dha. So, dha was a single syllable that gave three values of restraint of sense organs, sharing our wealth through charity, and being kind and compassionate to fellow human beings. Now we go to Kathopanishad again, and it's in Kathopanishad that they say our life is like a chariot, like journey by chariot rather. We are going by a chariot and there's a driver, we are the Yajamanas, and the driver has a crucial role to play. The 7 shlokas in Kathopanishad going into, in fact another 2 can be added, 9 shlokas. They actually say, look at your physical body as the chariot, the actual physical hardware. The horses that pull the chariot are no other than your mind, emotional mind, asking for this, asking for that, getting depressed at times, having no motivation to do some work which actually has to be done. Emotional mind which goes up and down. And most important, the 4th bullet, in order to handle the horses, to handle the reins, emotional mind is the reins, and to see that the chariot goes in the right direction, the crucial role is played by the driver, the charioteer, that is Buddhi. Atmanam rathinam viddhi shariram rathamevatu. Then punchline is Buddhim tu sarathim viddhi. Sarathi is the charioteer. I have titled this slide, as you may notice, educate your intellect constantly. Don't say, oh, okay, my buddhi is most important. Understood, thank you. That won't do. Daily study spiritual literature. Study literature on human values. Reflect on it. Discuss with your friends. How? Though everybody knows one must speak truth, why is it everybody is talking lies, telling lies? Though everybody knows the value of honesty, why is so much corruption in the society? Ask yourself, ask your friends, discuss. Then your intellect gets trained. Just as a good driver is not born a driver. He goes through driving school, he practices, he learns, and he knows suddenly if there is a pit on the road, how the car can be slowed down and one can avoid that pit and avoid damage to the car or damage to passengers, etc. So just as a good driver doesn't happen all of a sudden. A good driver, through experience, through training, through listening to good advice, becomes a good driver. Likewise, friends, we must train our buddhi. Therefore, we must study our scriptures where we are guided and we are given an exercise so that we can distinguish the false from the truth. Now, in the last slide that I'm sharing, after that I will welcome some questions if there are. The Upanishads at a number of places, in fact, tell you these are the parameters, these are the criteria, these are the measuring yardsticks with which you can know whether your life is running on right track or your life has gone off track. What are those values? To give an example, such lists are everywhere. In Kenopanishad, after seeing Isha and Kata and Taittiriya and Brihadaranyaka, I am giving you an example from Kenopanishad from Samaveda. Wonderful teachings are given in the Kenopanishad. But at the end of it, with a touch of humor, we see that one student gets up and asks, "Oh, revered sir, oh Guru, teach me Brahma Vidya." All this time Brahma Vidya was taught. Presumably, some other students who were attentive, who were prepared, got the full benefit. But there was one, backbencher. He said, "Tell me Brahma Vidya." Then the Guru, out of great compassion, does not tease the boy or the girl, says, well, that's good. That's a good question. You are asking me what is Brahma Vidya. You know what? Tasyai Brahma Vidyayai Tapodama Karmeti Pratishta Veda Sarvangani Satyam Ayatanam. There is a mantra like that. You want to know Brahma Vidya, and you have been missing the point all this time. In order that you may truly receive Brahma Vidya, please train your mind to concentrate. Today your mind is like a monkey, but not just in studies or in sports or in some selected activities, but wherever you want, you can fix your mind on a chosen object without difficulty. That's called tapaha. Tapaha iti ekagrata. Dhamaha. Train your senses. You have in front of you gulab jamun, rasagolla. You love it. There's nothing wrong with you if you love rasagolla. But do not overeat. Two may be ideal for a young lady or woman. Maybe take one and don't go for the two. Or take two, but definitely not a third one. So moderation. If you train your tongue, for example, to be moderate, you take jalebi, but one or two and then say thank you, not more. So like that, radio, television, internet browsing, and YouTube watching, all of that, Upanishads or spiritual literature doesn't say don't get into it, but never overdo it. That is damaha. Karma, noble actions, wherever there are some service opportunities, serve people. Vedaha is a general word for spiritual study. Satyam, be truthful. All these are the foundation. It is said, Veda Sarvangani Satyam Ayatanam. Above all, truthful. Be true to yourself. Leave alone others. Be true to yourself. Don't deceive yourself. Don't say at 8 a.m. that for the next 1 hour I will do yoga asana on a Sunday morning. And you even wear the dress for doing yoga asana. Nobody is watching. After wearing the t-shirt and the pajama to do yoga asana, suddenly you remember, nobody is watching, nobody is asking. Oh, I think my mother has left some jalebi in the kitchen. Why not I taste too and then come and do yoga asana? And you go to kitchen. You not only discover jalebis, but a few namkeen items also. And we eat so much, then the mind says, after eating so much, it's not good to do yogasana, so I will do tomorrow. You see, nobody watched, nobody questioned, nobody has put a score on you. You have failed or passed, but you deceived yourself. So if you are truthful to yourself, you decided at 9 a.m., I will now do yogasana. You haven't taken breakfast yet. I'll take breakfast after the 45 minutes yogasana. Be true to yourself. You are not letting somebody down in a sense. But actually, if you let yourself down, then eventually you will let others also down. Be truthful. In this way, Isha and Kena, Kata and Mundaka, Brahadaranyaka, a few I have drawn and given you samples of how the Upanishads have been touching upon human values. And lastly, the Upanishads are mainly concerned with total freedom that is possible through self-realization, self-knowing. But the values are always brought in every Upanishad as the necessary step. They are the stepping stones. Unless your life gets orderly, that avyavastha goes away from your life, you won't be able to reach the freedom of that Brahma Vidya. In this way, friends, we can see a lot of insights into human values in the Upanishads. I thank the organizers and thank all of you for your patient hearing. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji, for such a wonderful elaboration. You have started from Mandukya Upanishad and ended with Kena Upanishad. Each Upanishad carries human values. So nicely you have explained with depiction. Now I will invite some students to ask their doubts, if you permit.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, yes. Anyone wants to ask any questions to Swamiji, please.
Good afternoon, Swamiji.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my doubt is, what is the significance of conversation between Sitaketu and Yamaraj, Dharmaraj in Kathopanishad?
Yeah. So, Yamadharmaraj is the teacher in Kathopanishad, and Nachiketa, the student, gets 3 boons to ask for. And in first and second boons, he asks for, certain other things, for the peace in his family and some, knowledge about going to heaven, etc. The significance, you asked very nicely, what is the significance of the conversation? In the conversation, when it takes up the highest wisdom of what is the final truth of our existence, are we this body that is born in certain year and then dies in certain year? Every body, goes through youth and middle age and old age, disease, death, all that. Is that all? Or is there something higher? That's the question. But you have asked, what is the significance of the conversation? The conversation brings no one less than Yama, who was and is the god of Dharma also. He is Dharma Raja and Yama Raja. So he is brought into the picture, and Nachiketa is a very, very pure-hearted boy. So by bringing such characters of very, very great eminence, all other students are encouraged to read it. Suppose you go to some foreign country, and then they say you are passing by some place. Then they say, you must see this place. You say, I am tired, I don't want to see. But this is the place where once Vivekananda from your country spent 3 days. He sat in meditation at this place. There is a rock on which he sat. Don't you like to see? Moment you hear, oh, I see. So at this park, Vivekananda had sat. Let me take a look. So by bringing eminent people into the picture, one is motivated to take up that study. So here Yama and Nachiketa are eminent people. And the content also is simply wonderful. Both Dharma and Brahma, Dharma for a value-based life, Brahma for moksha, liberation, are dealt with in the conversation.
Thank you, Swamiji, for a wonderful explanation.
Thank you, Swamiji. Now I'll invite few participants to express their learning experience. Anagha is there.
Sairam to all. I'm Anagha from BA Vedic Studies. Today's session was very helpful for all of us. Like you said, sir, mere memorization of these values will not be useful, and our Upanishads have given this knowledge to all of us in the most practical way. The examples cited today were easy and understandable. In all our Upanishads, we can find the values of humility, sacrifice, fearlessness through several analogies and metaphors, giving us the promise for permanent happiness. We were also able to remember several of these examples that were taught to us by our Sadguru. I'm sure that imbibing these values in our lives will definitely transform all of us. Especially being a part of BA Vedic Studies, the session was extremely beneficial and gave a good insight to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Anagha. May I call now Divya to express her feelings? Divya.
Sairam to all those who are present here. I am Divya, studying in BA Vedic Studies from Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. Being a student studying in Vedic Studies, our education focuses on these very truths of Vedanta. And this session has truly been very insightful, for it is in line with what we're studying. Our Upanishadic truths have always explained to us the way of life and how to lead it. This session has truly given us a beautiful reminder on how we should observe life when it comes in all situations. When it comes to observing our mind, I'm reminded on how our Guru always tells us this shloka from Kathopanishad, from the Prathama Adhyaya of the Tritiya Valli, which says, Yachet Vangmanasi, Pragnistad Yachet Jnana Atmani, Jnana Atmani Mahatini Yachet, Tad Yachet Shanta Atmani. This means to say we must observe and go back into our mind, from our mind into that intellect, and from that intellect into the Jnana Atmani. But even that is not our goal. In fact, it is to reach that which is higher, that Mahat and Shanta Atmani. When we access that consciousness of God, we learn how to lead that beautiful way of life. To be honest, this particular session gave a beautiful overview of our wondrous Vedic philosophy from all the spiritual texts. And this itself is the proof of the Upanishadic beauty and its exceptional way of teaching us how to lead every step of life. We're very grateful for this insightful session, which explained to us how we must live in the present and observe life in order to reach that ultimate consciousness. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Divya, for your feedback. Now, one professor sir is there with us. He is from Northeast, Dr. Ratindranath ji. He wanted to share his experience. So, Ratindranath sir, please.
Yes, madam. Hello.
Huh, sir, you are audible. Now you can speak.
Yes, yes, madam. Actually, the session that I have been attending since yesterday, I have found the sessions very much interesting. Actually, whatever sir has explained, our Chidananda Swamiji, whatever he has explained today, with the help of the poem, that is means regarding the two ways of life, the particular way which is mostly frequented by the highest number of people is always clumsy, and what to say, it is always fictitious. But the particular road which is very much less frequented is always smooth for our well-being. It has catered my attention to the highest point. And apart from this, particular view. Swamiji has explained the truth of life, the values of life, as well as our emancipation, what is to be done by each and every human being, practically in this era of corruption, as well as all sorts of means inhumanly attitude that we have been observing among the human being, how to overcome all these things and how to become a perfect man. It is really wonderful. I have enjoyed the session very much, and I hope Basant College for Women will observe these sorts of program in the near future. With this, I conclude my feedback speech. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And with us, one associate professor from Odisha. She is Dr. Tarulata Devi, and she is a very interested. Since yesterday she is attending the program. I may request her to share her views. Dr. Tarulata Devi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible.
First of all, let me congratulate Swamiji for your very nice presentation that since yesterday we are enjoying such type of workshops. And one slide that has touched me very much, that is, what do values do with us? Because this is the present time that we are just going from fear to confidence, from selfishness to service minded, from sorrow to happiness. That point that touches me very much, because really these values are really the love, peace, truth, and what else that we do not consider that has to be gone. So I'm very much obliged, I'm very much thankful, Swamiji, for such nice views and nice presentation, because the right action is always praised, and whether it will be ethical or it is social or it is something like the good habits, etc. So anyhow, Basant College is very nicely organizing this type of webinars. Let me congratulate you all. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Taru. May I request our own colleague, Dr. Parveen Sultana, to share her views. Dr. Parveen, she is an associate professor in fine arts in our institution. So she can also share her views. Dr. Parveen.
Thank you, Meenakshi. But Pranam Chidanand sir, and it's good to see you, sir, again in this platform, sir. And Upanishad and all these things are very not much known to me, but it was really a very informative and fruitful lecture, sir. You have elaborated it in such a I can say in a simple manner, है ना. तो सर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा, और मैंने रियली आई थॉरली एंजॉयड योर लेक्चर, सर. थैंक यू सो मच, सर.
Thank you,
Parveen, for such a nice feedback. And we know that always, as usual, Swamiji talks so nicely and so intelligently that we feel like listening to him continuously. Even days together, if he speaks, we will sit and listen to him. We will not feel bored. So now, I am requesting Dr. Rajiv Jaiswal to give the formal vote of thanks to Swamiji and all the participants. Dr. Rajiv Jaiswal, please.
Thank you, Didi, and thank you, Swamiji, for your enlightening lecture on human values, Upanishad perspective. So, on behalf of IKVC, Vasant College for Women, Rajghat, and Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Swamiji, founder of FOI Forum, for giving his talk on human values, Upanishad perspective. And sir, your view on human values are so much beneficial for all of us. And I would like to express my sincere thanks to our principal, Professor Alka Singh, ma'am, for her encouragement and mentoring. And thank you very much, ma'am, for your consistent guidance. I express my gratitude to Professor Srikant Murthy sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for his collaboration for this workshop on human values. And I would like to thank Professor Seema Srivastava ma'am, IQAC coordinator, Vasanta College for Women, for its support and guidance. I express my gratitude to the convener, Professor Meenakshi Biswal ma'am, and Dr. Naveen Bhatt for their hard work to organizing and managing such important workshop on such important issue subject. I express my thanks to co-convener of the workshop, Dr. Yogita Bedi and Dr. Ganesh Bhatt. I express my sincere gratitude to all the members of the organizing committee of both the institution, and a special thanks to the student of Sri Sathya Sai University for their melodious chanting of Vedas. And at last, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the participants, because without your cooperation, it could not have been possible. So thank you very much all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Swamiji, for your enlightening talk. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you,
Hello.
Swamiji. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Swamiji.
Hello.
Now for today, we are ending the session and we will start tomorrow at the same time, and we are waiting for you. Tomorrow will be the discourse on Bhagavad Gita. Thank you all the participants, and thank you for all your cooperation. Thank you.